Question 27 is a big one, and I wasn't sure how to break it up, so stick with me and speed up the speech if you need to, but we're going to cover each one of the check boxes. Basically, what we're looking for is any tracking technologies that you utilize. And in question 27, there's quite a substantial list. Some of them are really familiar, some of them maybe not so much, so I included definitions on all of them. A web beacon is a technique used on web pages and emails to allow checking to see if a user has accessed some content. Third parties typically use web beacons to monitor a user's activity on a website for web analytics or for page tagging. They also can be used for email tracking. So if you use the web beacon, just go ahead and hit yes in the check box. And if you're not sure, this is a question on all of these, I would check with your web developer. Next, a tag is a piece of information describing the data or its contents and that it's assigned to. They're non-hierarchical keywords used for internet bookmarks, digital images, videos, files, etc. Tags don't carry any information themselves, and they serve many functions, including classification. Privacy tags mean special machine-readable tags placed in message content indicating that the message content contains specifically protected information. A script is a small program that can interactively works with your website. It can generate pop-ups, and it can also be in a JavaScript or a VBS script. Session cookies are cookies that last during the session when it starts and ends when it closes. They contain information stored in a temporary memory location, and they're never stored on the device. Session cookies are also known as transient cookies, non-persistent cookies, or temporary cookies. A cookie policy or notice acceptance of cookies is typically a pop-up that discusses the cookies that you have and your policy surrounding them. Just an FYI, in 2023, moving forward, we're going to see some pretty major changes to the cookie policies, not only in the European Union, but also in the United States. There's quite a bit of states that are talking about it. So stay tuned. For now, we'll continue with this. Functional cookies help personalize the end user experience. Necessary cookies, you have to have them for your website to operate, but functional cookies do additional things that allow the functionality to be increased. So they are anonymous and they don't track browsing activity or they don't track activity across websites. Tracking and performance cookies that are administered by a third party monitor the site performance and follow user actions. These cookies don't collect identifiable user information. They obtain data anonymously and only use it to improve the website user's performance, to improve the website's performance. Targeting and advertising cookies administered by a third party are designated to gather information from a user's device to display advertisements based on relevant topics. So this is like when you feel like you're being spied on. Advertisers will place these cookies on your website with permission. You know how like you search bananas and then for the next 10 days all you see is bananas? That's this kind of a thing. That always makes me giggle. Okay, so you're going to want to let me know which is the best option. So you're either going to honor do not track signals, or you're not going to have the capacity to honor do not track signals. So again, this is something that your web designer should be able to answer for you. If you use Facebook or Metapixels, this is a little description about how they interact. Just disclose if you use one or the other or both. Single pixel GIFs pass information from the user's computer to a third-party website. When used with cookies, they enable information to be gathered and tracked. Google Analytics this is just a very brief description of it, but let me know if you're using Google Analytics. And always, as a reminder, be aware of the settings that you're selecting within Google Analytics to determine what type of information you're collecting and how you're collecting it. Because Google basically says in their disclosure that by you using it, you're accepting responsibility and understand how Google Analytics works. It's very complicated, so just make sure. It's actually, I shouldn't say it's very complicated. It's more complicated than it seems it should be. So you could really benefit from having someone who specializes in Google Analytics to work with you to just at least make sure all of the settings are correct. Google Ads use third-party cookies, so let me know if you are utilizing Google Ads, and then list any social media networks that you have linked to your website. And it might be anywhere from one of the mighty networks that you've created, or it could be Instagram, Facebook, or whatever, LinkedIn, Snapchat, TikTok. Oh my God, YouTube. There's so many. And then pick the best option here. You either personally collect the financial information for processing. I think that this is probably a more rare. It's typical going to be the typical situation is going to be that you're using third-party vendors to process payments. And then this one is not as common for online businesses, but you could be a hybrid or just brick and mortar, really. But again, it's any type of automated monitoring of website systems through a closed circuit TV or other communication systems. Probably not in the majority of people on the automatic monitoring, but I wanted to just ask to make sure. Do you use email and instant messaging systems? And also that would include like your MailChimps and Flowdesk and different kinds of email. We're just going to call it email and instant messaging systems, what you would be using for your newsletter. All right, make sure you let me know any questions that you have.